Okay. Ah, yes. So I wanted to send a recording, make a recording, just hopefully with sending some words of encouragement and strength and faith and sorry, my my seat is my bench was sliding and uh, support during this really incredible time. A time of great felt fluctuation. Um, there's no denying the palpability of the global pandemic, sarcoid of COVID-19, as well as the continued global, historical, and ongoing pandemic of white supremacy and its appearance as racial hierarchies and with whiteness on top and darkness on the bottom. For me personally, this last month or so has been the last few months have been very challenging. They've been filled with a lot of introspection, sadness, death of people I know, with a lot of uncertainty and my own human response, fear and loneliness, and even moments of sheer terror, as well as experiencing sickness and just the fragility of the human body. At the same time, I have felt very clear that the Dharma is my only hope, as it says in the Four Reminders and other places. And that does not mean that I don't engage in my human life, but I really am working from the foundation of the jewel that's in my heart, the jewel of wakefulness. And from there, really trying to operate and live life as someone who is trying to be a light in the world. And sometimes that light is about warmth and illumination, and sometimes that light is about a fire that burns and purifies. The first Buddhist name I was given for my refuge vows by then Acharya Judy Leaf, who many people know. She writes about death and dying. She gave me the name Ninjay Sheltri, which means compassion crystal sword. And the compassion crystal sword has to do with the Bodhisattva Manjushri, who I have on my wall. Maybe that's Vajrapani, but I do believe I have Manjushri. And he holds a sword of wakefulness and of knowledge, and it's also compassionate about waking, cutting through delusion. And that name is really been a guiding force for me for the last 12 years, and something that I've worked to aspire to. I have other Buddhist names. My Bodhisattva name is Yeshe Shitso, compassion, wisdom, lake. So I've had to work a lot with compassion, and compassion, is misunderstood sometimes. Compassion is comes from in English, comes from the Latin, which means to co-suffer or co-experience or walk through hell together, hand in hand. So compassion isn't pity or even empathy. It's I'm joining you in this struggle, and I'm going to help share the load. And then I have another name, my tantric name, which is Jampa Surmonk, which means golden helmet. And that may seem like a weird name, but that it really evokes the um, warriorship, awakened warriorship, or Gaysar of Ling, and the Rigdon Imperial Rigdon King, or the Imperial Rigdon Queen, or the Imperial Rigdon um, ruler, who, not in terms of ruling over other people, but in terms of being able to take my seat. And so when I put those things together, I really know that my call in life is to be of uh, um, wrathful, compassionate service to the world. So we've been on weekly Dharma gathering, offering free teachings on Mondays and Fridays since March, and we'll be doing that through June, Pride Month, and through the end of June. And Mondays, Ashley Din just teaches, holds an open sit. It was Learn to Meditate that kind of morphed into open sit. And I've been teaching different compassion practices on Fridays, Tonglen, contemplations, visualizations, chanting, embodied practices, and we'll continue with that, as well as our weekly Wednesday teachings. And so I really want to just say to people, the time is now to get right in terms of getting connected with ourselves, getting connected with teachers and teachings that are oriented around bringing about the end of the stronghold that passion, aggression, and delusion has, passion, aggression, and ignorance has on the world, bringing about the end of the stronghold that white supremacy has on the world, burning up the karmic seeds of white supremacy and the attachment to whiteness, burning up the karmic seeds of our attachment to violent capitalism that puts property before people, or makes people into property, or steals land from people and calls it their own. And so, the clarity that comes from practicing, connecting with others, organizing, sharing, and deeply committing to a life of ethics and the ethics of care for self and others is not about, it's important, and it's the important thing, but it's not about saying other people when they make mistakes or when we make mistakes are not worthy. It's not about being morally superior. It's not about being disconnected. It's not about being lazy in this era of Google, in this era of Dharma teachers and wisdom holders and Reiki teachers and plant medicine and yoga asana teachers and seers and star readers. That there are plenty of resources of old, new wisdoms that are here for us. There are plenty of resources that are around dismantling systems of oppression. And so I call on each and every one of you to continue that journey. If you've been on it, to turn up your commitment, to uh, make the commitment in relation to the power you hold in the world. So the more power you hold in the world, the more risk you can take. I call on people who've been on the sidelines and who just send thoughts and prayers to begin to put action, resources behind those ideas or ideals, and to really to stop asking Black people and Indigenous people and other people of color to do the work for you, to stop apologizing and saying sorry, and instead to submit yourself to the teaching of Black and Brown people, not just buy their books, but to learn from them, to sit at their feet for a year, to commit to supporting organizations like Equal Justice Initiative or bailout funds, or Just Leadership USA, which works on ending incarceration in the United States, or halving incarceration by 2030, or Black-led community-based organizations in your area, right? Or Indigenous-led community organizations in your area. I'm getting a buzz on my phone. Someone needs to be let in. So I really just call upon us to be action oriented and also contemplative in our lives and in our orientation. You can follow me on Instagram at Shanté Paradigm, or on Facebook, Twitter, Shanté Paradigm. You can find me, or you can go on my website, shantéparadigm.com. And always feel free to contact me or my assistant, Adriana, Adriana at shantéparadigm.com. If you want to receive teachings, loans for practices, if you want to work, I'm taking a small amount. I have a small amount of students, and I'm working with a few more. Probably taking about 5 students total this year, so I have room for a couple more. Or if you want to just learn more about weekly Dharma gathering or the other work that I do, or work that others that I know do. So I'm sending you all strength, serenity, sanity, peace, and health.